Hey there, Hollywood fans. Good to see you all again. Check this out. There's actually a little bit of sun on my face. Just a little bit of afternoon sun coming in from the window there. So that's a really nice thing to see this side of the pond, believe you me. So without further ado, we are closing in rapidly now on the end of the year. Certainly it was the end of the season. We celebrated that last weekend, and that was all about the final round of the GXCCs. Carletonville. Now you remember Carletonville last year. It was an absolute terrifying race. Really cool terrain, absolutely awesome laid out track, but we were really on a promise of big rain. They said it was going to come at 11, they said it was going to come at 12, and it ended up coming just on the last lap, pretty much as the top 3 or 4 pros on the motorbikes came in, and then everyone else got jammed out there in real bad rain. So we were on a promise this year again. So I sent the boys out from LiveX with Wellington boots and waterproofs and absolutely everything to survive the day, and it didn't rain. And that's a good thing, because it had rained in the weeks building up, so the ground was really nicely kind of like prepped. Good traction, really good hook for the juniors, the quads, and the senior motorcycles. And that rain that was promised, that was supposed to arrive at about 11 o'clock in the morning, only arrived on the evening at about 8:30. Yes! Love it when that works out, because GXCC have had some seriously bad luck this year with floods and fires, so we needed to have a good reason to celebrate at the end of the season. Right now, this is what went down at GXCC, the final round in 2022, and most of the championships were decided on the day. Enjoy. All this GXCC racing action driven by Dunlop is brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. This was where it was all going to go down, the final round of the GXCCs in 2022. In fact, the same venue that hosted the final round in 2021. But this championship was super tight this season. A couple of bogey events where we had floods or we had fires, so everything got real tight on the championship points, and every single position gained at this final round was going to potentially be the decider between winning or losing a title. It came down to Carletonville.
We're out here in Carletonville, last round of the season. We also had our last round of last year at Carletonville. Completely different scenario. It was a complete mud fest. We had 2 weeks of non-stop rain, and the night before the race, it just came bucketing down the whole night. So, the guys were just playing in the mud. For the last 2 weeks, no, we haven't had any rain, and a little bit last night just to settle the dust, but it's all good.
For the morning event, we chatted to a couple of the riders to talk about their season and what they were expecting for the day. Media were on hand and ready.
Het is baie lekker sover. Die eerste jaar dat ek GXCC doen, as jy dit geniet sover, die laaste ronde het baie lekker geloop, die fiets het gehou. Die baan was spyk geweest, baie mooi gemerk, so as jy baie lekker gery. Ja, sover loop 2022 baie goed af. Ja, expecting it gonna go good. Ek sien baie uit vir vandag. Die baan lyk vinnig, so ons gaan mooi ry, slim wees en hierdie fiets breek nie en hom net huis toe bring.
Was a good year. Couple of bike accidents and the bike didn't last, but this is basically a new bike with the same plastics. And I've driven with the last race with this one. It kept me well. Hopefully it's doing well this year as well.
Judith, how was 2022 for you?
Also a good year, yes. I hope this one is also going to be good. Don't feel a bit lacquer today, but yeah, we will crush this one. This is a lacquer track, really. Last year we ended with this track, it's a really lacquer track. So now I think we will do it.
So far, really good. I had a couple of bad starts in the beginning of the season, but it played out really well, really well.
Were you here last year?
Yes, I was actually on Q1 last year, also on the Honda 450. Just had bad luck. It's one of those seasons where it was bad luck. But on the big boy this year.
And how are you expecting the track today?
With the photos I saw Vian put on, it looks amazing. Hopefully it was not too much rain last night. And hopefully it just stays dry.
Good luck today.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, man.
2022 has been a good year, I can't complain. This series and the other one, it's been a good year, so I'll take it every day. Yeah, look, I believe they got a bit of rain here last night, so hey, makes a change, no dust bowl racing. Carletonville's never been a good track for any of us, but hopefully we'll change it today. Yeah, no dust, just good clean race and get it to the end. Yeah, once again, we have to thank our sponsors. Dragon Energy, CST Tires, Dirt Nurse, the guys just keep us going out doing what we love to do. Luckily this year we brought home a couple of championships with them, so it's nice. Big thanks to them, and we can keep up the work for next year.
All the smiles and high fives done. Now time to get serious. 50 kilometers of racing, 3 and a bit hours on the bars and on the gas. First out the gate, as always, the Q1s. 3 riders going at it. Franco Pretorius, the Kid, as he's become known. Marcel Cilliers and the early season championship favourite, Clayton Buerta, was back in to see how many points he could get on the plate as well. All about Franco though, going out the gate and running clear air. How long could he live out there, as he was going to get chased down by a very strong field of Q2 racers. The 4x4, a rare hole shot coming in for Davy van Staden, but Hannes, the previous couple of rounds winners, was going to be there, as well as the rest of an incredibly stacked gate of chasing pack racers in the Q2s. Quad Masters, real good pull off the line coming in for Jaco Krikke. He really has become one of those hole shot superstars. Henry McCall Sr. was there as well though, so it was going to be difficult to fight against him. He loves this kind of track and he's on the big 700. It looked like a horsepower track. On the veterans, Brian Herbst, back to his old magical ways, dressed up the bike in full livery for Dragon energy drinks and was going to run and hide. Even though he would have problems in lap number 1, he was gone in the early stages of the event once more. Bonnie Barnard was there along with Davy de Vet to see if they could fight over the scraps. For the ladies quads, all about Corrine Thiessen. She's been a revelation in the second half of this tour. Kern Brits was also out there seeing what she could do on the Kawasaki machine. We had actually a good entry of lady racers going out there to see what they could do. At least there was going to be no bogs to get stuck in the mud. And for the quad wows, for the first time this season and in many seasons counting back almost 5 years, the quad wows gave us our biggest quad entry on the gate at the final round at Carletonville. A couple of new faces. Hopefully the bug would bite and we'd see them on the gate full time in 2023. With the quads clear, it was time to turn our attention to the juniors who would go out there on one of the biggest, fastest, gnarliest tracks laid out, the 17-kilometer loop. Would ask everything of them. Franco Ferri, the famous 400, was out there gunning for another big hole shot. Clarkey, as he's done in the second half of the season, just hanging back a little bit, staying out of the way, trying not to get caught up in the craziness. The junior 85s, an incredible pull off the gate for Willem Buerta, a revelation also in the second half of the season. But by the end of the whole shot queue, it was all about Bruno Niebuhr, the championship points leader, who was going to run and see if he could catch up to the big dogs on the 85 seniors. In the 65s, Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen, Mr. Whole Shot, is back and banging. He took his old sparring partner for the 50cc days of racing, Matty Mayer, along for the ride, and the rest of them were going to see what they could do. On the 50cc's, also another huge story about a guy who has really figured out how to get the hook off the line, and that is Campbell Dupree. But quickly, it was Declan Richards that saw clear air, and he would need to run away as well, because the championship was between himself and Wilco Deploy, and it would be decided on the day. Back on the gate, our final entry was our Junior Wows, where we really saw a good growth of riders, all of them going out there to see and test their mettle on the full 17-kilometer loop. Wow Quads always makes us feel good, because that's the future. If these guys enjoy what we lay out, they'll come back.
Yeah, look, I mean, we always try and get the juniors to go closer to the 20k mark. It's been an aim of mine for the last couple of races to get them closer to the 20-kilometer mark. Today they're very close to 17. Couldn't squeeze another section in because then it gets too close to the senior loop. But they loved the loop last year. We turned it around for them this time around. It actually flows a lot better. So yeah, they're going to have some good fun out there. It's a faster than usual race, but it's safe fast.
17 kilometers hanging off the back fender and ripping the bars off. One or two riders found the limits early on. A little bit of standing water here and there. Traction was pretty good in the grasslands and on the hard pack where the rocks came out. It was a little bit wild. On the Junior Wows, cool to see all the juniors going out there and seeing what they could do. Reed Foster was the smallest kid on the little twist and go. And then Shane Nienalbert Jr. coming out from VW Mastercard's Hatfield with Dad on his wheel to make sure that the finish was done. 5th place for him. Sebastian Nell walking away with the number 4 spot, with the 333 of David Gordon getting it done inside of a number 3 ride. That's one of his best results yet. We'll no doubt see him on the 50cc full-time in 2023. Jamie Fasaki getting it done with a number 2 spot. Enjoyed the time on the bars there, chasing down on the wheel, but it was Eben Scholz who took the final victory of the season. Looked after by his chaperone, no doubt his dad, bringing home the bacon. The quad wows looking good at the final round. And then onto our GXCC Northern Regions and Club event, the 50cc gate. Super duper busy. Travis Levy walking away with number 7 on the day, Kellen Van Deventer into a number 6, and Lincoln Deister walking away with a number 5 ride. Deister has got real good this season as well. He's about to outgrow the bike, so we're expecting to see him potentially move up into the 65s for next season. Liam Foster was a little bit further up the road from him on the J226, and then Campbell Dupria, who's so good at getting out the gate and has really turned his riding style around in the second half of the season. He takes one of his best rides, in my opinion, with a very strong 3rd place finish. Declan Richards came into this round with a slim chance of being able to walk away with the 50cc title, but unfortunately the pendulum swung the other way this time around. 2nd place was not enough to get the championship done. The second half of the season, as well as the final round win and the championship, goes to Vilko Deploy for Rubine Racing, who has been unstoppable for the last couple of rounds. On the 65cc gate, incredible to see. New blood, incredible gate, and it's just one of those categories that it was hard to call at the beginning of the season. Josh Fotheringham was inside of a number 7 with Ewan Faree a little bit higher up the road in a number 6, with Tian Tainpont getting it done for the ever-growing Team Gravity Racing squad. Matty Mayer, who went out the gate inside of the top 2, fell a little bit further back, but not too far back. It looked like he's found his old groove once again, taking a number 4 finish. Mackenzie Bam, who's still not at full race fitness, but 3rd place was enough to wrap up another championship. That's 50cc backed up with 65s, the only lady in the world at the moment to get that job done. Liam Skierpers benefited from the misfortunes of other riders and also improved his lap times all the way through to get a number 2 spot, and then another win coming in for Rubine Racing for Werner Kleinams. That's a big one to end off the season. In the Junior 85s, massive story here with the spectacular lap times coming in for all of the kids inside the top 10. Matthias Tiempont was there with a number 8. Bryson Deister muscling the bike around to a number 7 ride. Corbin Muller maybe just didn't enjoy it as fast as some of the more mixed tracks. He takes a number 6 place, and that will potentially see him stay inside the top 6 for the season. Lost of the Mohicans no more. He is a fully fledged 85cc racer, is Hanyu de Kock. Himself and John Bart Moritz were warring it out for a number 4 and a 5. The 4 going to John Bart Moritz. Drickus van der Merwe also a bit of a turnaround story for the end of the season, starting to come good and look good for next year's championship. 3rd place out here today. Willem Buerta, who saw clear air for around about 100 meters before the pass was put on him. But Buerta, if he turns up next year, is going to be a real championship player. And Bruno Niebuhr, what can you say about this guy? He has grown in stature, grown in pace, walks away with another big win, and took the overall on the day in the juniors. Senior 85s then, these are the guys that are going to push on. Jaden Boyce was good out the gate, but he had some problems on the day. You'd expect to see him running inside the top 5, dropping down to a number 7 this time around. Verona was up the road from him with a number 6, was Gendre for Mark, also looking much more comfortable on his franchise co Kawasaki in the latter half of the season, number 5 for him. Lohan LaRue also looking good, riding out of the 444 Power Sport squad, doing double duty as well, racing on the 85s and the 125s. So him and Clarkey going after that Ironman category, the unofficial run. 4th place for Lohan. Up the road on the gas, Nathan Sinclair, in good shape this season as well, very consistent. Less crashes this year for sure, and that helps. Franco Ferri, big off the whole shot, and only dropping down 1 position. Looks like he was going to hang on to it for a little while there, but eventually the pass was put on him by Clarkey. Clarkey goes clean slate, unstoppable in the 85s. That'll be his last race on an 85.
Brandon, you've been pretty unstoppable this year. Tell me about that track today.
It was very nice. A bit of rocks everywhere, but it was very nice. A little bit slippery here and there, but it was good.
And your 2022 season?
Very nice. Eight races, 8 wins. I'm very happy.
And are you going to do Ironman duties today? What are you racing this afternoon?
Racing 4 on my 125.
And then what's your plan for next year?
Next year, racing high school. Planning to do some enduros and off-road. Yeah.
And shout out to the people that got you here.
Raceworks, KTM, Justin from Shock Logic, and my parents for sponsoring.
It was nice. It was quite rocky, and it was, yeah.
and tell me about the whole 2022 season for you. What was it like?
The first part of the season was nice. I won all of the races, which was, yeah. And then the second half wasn't too good. I kept on crashing, but it's racing, so yeah.
And who do you want to say thanks to for all the help?
My parents, my dad especially for fixing my bike and training me, and my mom for getting all of my things ready, and all of my sponsors.
And what's your plan for next year?
I'm planning on doing enduro and going out of the cross country, but it's not set yet.
Always cool to chat to the kids. Here's a wrap-up then of the final event. 85's Clarkey on top, ahead of Farie and Sinclair. LaRue for Mark, taking us to a number 5. Clarkey, a race time of a 2:10. Remember that number. Junior 85's all about Bruno Niebuhr, taking his first overall on the junior event, putting just over 2 minutes into Clarkey, so he delivered on his promise. Willem Buerta gets a number 2 spot with Van der Merwe, Jean-Bart Moritz in a number 4, and Hanya de Kock taking a number 5 finish. 65's all about Werner Kleinhams for Rubine Racing on the top step there. Really a strong ride, but the numbers were close. Liam Skippers almost had him. Mackenzie Bam, 3rd place, good enough for her second title on the GXCCs, ahead of Meyer and Tienpont. And the 50cc's, the final result, the final ride, and the final lap deciding the title here with Rubine Racing's Wilco Deploy ahead of Vans Racing's Declan Richards. Campbell Dupree in 3rd, ahead of Foster and Deister. And a cool entry in from our WOW class, which means we've got some new blood and new names to mention. Eben Skoltz getting the win ahead of Jamie Fusaki, David Gordon, Sebastian Nell, Shane Nienaber Jr. and Reed Foster. Next up, it's quad racing time.
You know, for this time of the year, it's really not bad to see the type of entries that we've had, close on 220 entries for this time of the year. We've turned the quad loop around as well, and I went out on it now the other day, and it's really fun. It flows so nice. It's just a lot of fun out there. Their loop is just shy of 50 Ks. It's like 49.9 or something. So we always try and get to that 50 K mark this time of the season. Last round, I think it's good to get to that 50 Ks.
Different situation to last year where the quads had to open up what was a absolute swamp of a track. The quad wows enjoying their time and giving us once again the best entry we've seen all season. Chris Liebenberg, Leon Swan, Sean Kutzer and Wayne Swan taking us into the top 3, with Jacques Liebenberg taking a number 2 spot. And then we had to wait and see who was going to be on top. It was the KTM of Tian Wolfart. We have seen Tian before. Hopefully he's going to join us for the full tour next year. For the ladies' gate, we had the normal riders going out there and banging bars. Judith Cricker getting it done with a number 6 ride. Tough day at the office for her. Just ahead was Candice DeSantos and Kern Brits. At Kawasaki's looking good nowadays. Potentially going to be a top 3 runner. Celeste Berger, although she started the season strong, has had some problems. 3rd place will cheer her up, no doubt, as she celebrates another podium position. Up the road, and these have been the class of the field in the second half of the season. Liesl Barnard, on her day on the right terrain, can run away with it. And she's got 1,000 cc's underneath her on the big Can-Am, but today it was a number 2 spot. incredibly enough, what looks like a relatively stock bike, and believe me, it is. It's a little machine, but Corrine Thiessen has got a big thumb, and she points that thing at the throttle as hard as you like. Another incredible win. She's a superstar in the making. We need to just get her on some bigger power, and she will run out front. For the quad veterans, 4 riders making the finishing numbers. Davy de Vet looks like he's very comfortable on a track like this. A high-speed layout, nothing too tech, and he also enjoyed good form at the second half of the season. Francois Berger, the defending title holder in this category as well, walking away with number 3 spot. Just couldn't run the high-speed pace all the way through the day. It's always going to be a challenge on a very fast loop like this. Bonnie Barnard, who came out swinging on the big 4x4, did look like he had a good setup on the machine, and potentially could have been able to walk away with the win if it hadn't been for one rider up the road. That rider, the whole shot kid, Brian Herbst, coming into this round with some niggling issues. His back giving him some problems after the last regional event, and a big overshoot on lap number 1, having to repass all of his competitors. He went out front though, got the final victory of the season, got into the top 4 in the overalls, and walks away with another title. For the Quad Masters, Jaco Krikke came out of the gate swinging, but faded backwards towards the end of the race with a 3rd place. Fernando de Santos walks away with another high finish for him, the De Santai getting a number 2 spot, but it was Henny Macau Sr., now riding for Team Gravity, who got it done at the top of the pile once more. He is no doubt going to be the man to beat once again as we roll forward into 2023. Big Macau, big thumbs up, and a big win to end off his year. For the Q2s, which gave us a lot of the high-speed races, but there was problems in the mid-pack. Calvin Jens van Vuren walks away with an 8. Rian Dick, we just saw him now. He had some problems on the day. Really just did not go his way. Punches and issues on the machine. 7th place for him. Rare problems also coming in for Hannes Simon, who has been near on unstoppable in the second half of the season. Switching machinery between his regular 4-stroke hybrid machine and the Banshee. 6th place here is not what we expect from the guy, but he had his problems. Davy van Staden, big hole shot on the Can-Am. Looking good, riding out of Barnard for as well. Those guys coming in and fielding a very strong team towards the end of the season. Van Staden will be pretty happy with the number 5 ride, beating out a lot of key riders. Reinhard Rast has been looking for that consistency. He's got the speed, he just didn't have the luck on his side. He'll be pretty happy to walk away with the number 4 spot at the final round and be able to draw a line under what has been a bit of a scrappy season and looking for better form in 2023. Tinus Kutzer, it's been great to see this guy really develop with this big, absolute fire-breathing Honda. The 700 is hard to ride, everyone says it is, but he has figured out how to get the best out of himself and the bike. 3rd place, he'll be pretty stoked on that one. Number 2 spot then, and one of his best rides of the year. He has seen the podium a couple of times though, so don't discount him as a regular visitor to those magical steps. Henny Blicknort, strong as ever on a track that really suited him and his big Raptor down to the ground. Number 2 spot. And talking of Raptors, this was a surprise on the day to see Henny Macau Jr. swing a leg over Old Faithful, because remember, for the last couple of years he has been developing that hybrid Honda 450 with a motocross engine in it, but this track, the high-speed nature, and Henny, it was all about the Raptor here. He got on it and got the final win. Q1's just 3 riders going at it in the final event, and a championship that's pretty much done and dusted and decided. But Marceau Cilliers, who came out of a couple of dust-off races in the wild class, has become a top 3 runner at every single race since he joined the pro ranks. 3rd place riding out of Old School Customs and beating out a very strong rider, Clayton Buerta, who came into this series at the beginning of 2022 as a standout championship hopeful. Got a good run of form in the early part of the season, then he was a no-show, so he lost a ton of points. 2nd place here may be able to bring him back into the mix. If he can string a whole season together, we will see Clayton Buerta as a champion in the future. But out front, it was all about Franco Pretorius. Has yet to get the big overall because on the day, the Q2s were just that faster because it's a high-speed track. But on the more technical tracks, you may see this guy walk away with the big number 1 on the event. Time will tell, as he's no doubt going to try and go out in 2023 to defend his title. Another win at Carletonville, and your Q1 champion, Pretorius. We caught up with the riders after the flag dropped.
Ja, baie dankie. Ja, die trek was baie moeilik geweest. Dit was rof, klippe was baie. Ons het redelik modder gehad. Maar verder die fiets mooi geloop. Ons het nie issues gehad nie. So ja, ons het lag gemaak. Ek's happy. Alles het mooi geloop.
And tell me about the bike this year.
Yeah, the bike was good. No complaints and everything. It's running okay. So yeah, we'll see next year.
The 2022 season was good for you.
Dit was baie lekker geweest. Geen valle of breke goed gehad nie. Alles het mooi verloop. Alles het goed deurgegaan. So ja, dit was baie goed geweest. Ja, dankie vir my ma, my pa, my boetie, my oupa wat hier is. Almal my meisie, dankie vir almal wat hier is om ondersteun. En ja, dankie vir almal.
Dit was baie lekker vandag. Ons kan die hele dag 110% gery het. Daar was 'n paar vangplekkies. Maar as ons net kop hou, ons het net kop gehou en ons kon daai vangplekkies uitwis en 110% gee die hele dag. Dit was baie lekker vandag.
Tell me, how was the 2022 season for you altogether?
It was very tough. Nee, ons het baie gesukkel. Ek het op die 450 begin. Hondaatjie, maar vir hierdie tawwe terrein is hy bietjie lig en ek is bietjie swaar. Maar die Raptor vandag baie geniet. Die C100 is gemaak vir hierdie. I want to thank Team Gravity and Peter from Mix. Yeah, they support me the whole year and I'm very happy and thank you for them.
Yes, this is probably the best track I had so far this season. Yeah, it's really awesome. Really, I can't complain. It was nice and flowing, a couple of tight sections. There was a couple of rocky sections and stuff like that. A couple of mix of water and mud. So yeah, best track I think it can be.
2022 champion, how does it feel?
Yes, yeah, I didn't expect this in the beginning of the season. It's the first time on this big bad boy. So yeah, no, it all worked out. I had a bit of bad luck in the beginning of the season, the battery and stuff like that, a couple of flat tires. First lap now I had flat tires as well and I was like, oh, there goes the championship. But yeah, I pulled through. Pit crew was smooth and I just went out and pushed hard. Yes, no, well, I'm with Henny's crew as well and they just really helpful, you know, and even with people in the pits, they all come and help out. It's you know, we're family, so it's really awesome.
Okay, die track was baie lekker. It was fast. Dit was klipperig, maar het was lekker geweest. It was really a nice race. Really amazing. It's my 5th year now. I started and this year I'm taking it all. So yeah, I'm very excited. First of all, I would like to thank our sponsors, QCon and EMD Racing for Hannes and Darby. And then I would like to thank my husband. He's my best fan. Without him, I wouldn't be able to make it. And then last of all, she's not here today. She had faith in me. She trusted me. She loved me. She trained me 5 years ago. And that's Carly Simon. She had a baby boy yesterday. And Carly, congrats. Thank you.
Check out the results then from Carletonville for the final time of asking. Q1's all about Pretorius ahead of Buerta and Silius. Q2's Big Gate, and it was Henny Macau with the final win on the season ahead of Bluknort, Kutzer and Ras with Van Staden. Simon, Dick and Jantje van Vuren taking us to a number 8. Q Masters, all about Henny Macau Sr. Simply unstoppable, putting time and a lap into the rest of the best. That was DeSantos and Kricher. Quad Veterans, the superstar that is Brian Herbst off the front, wraps up another title, gets all of that bad luck off his back from the last couple of seasons. In the Quad Ladies, all about Corrine Thiessen taking the final win ahead of Barnard and Berger. And for the Quad Wows, the final win, and great to see him on the gate once again. Tian Wolfart beating out on Jacques Liebenberg and Wayne Swan. Thank you to the Quad Wows for joining us for the final time of asking in 2022. Hold your breath, because that was just the morning, and the afternoon would bring the thunder that is the Pro Motorcycles. All this GXCC racing action driven by Dunlop is brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. Yeah, the track was nicely opened up now by the quads and the senior motorcycles, who had a ton of super tight championships to be decided. We're all nervously waiting for their chance to get out there, get gone and get it done. We managed to catch up with a lot of the key players and a couple of the team owners as well to chat about the race and the season. 22 has been amazing.
Nah, for sure. Look, I'm here. It's the last race of the year. I'm not too sure what I need to do. I haven't had a look at the points really. But regardless of what the points are doing, I'm here to have a jol. And you know, it's close to Christmas time. It's time out, time off, family time. But we're out here. We did a fun road trip to get here, and the track looks awesome. So I'm keen. No, it's been the past 2 years has been amazing. I mean, Harry Grobler, the Talkcraft Kawasaki team has been absolutely amazing to me and to all of the riders actually, and I think we've made a hell of a ripple effect in the industry in the past 2 years, a good ripple effect, and I'm keen to see what next year brings. It certainly is not ending here. We've got a lot to prove and a lot to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. Look, with the drop point system this year, Mark's ahead of me already before we drop points, so I think it's a little bit, he's a little bit far ahead for me to catch up, but I'm still going to fight right until the end. But yeah, like you said, I am a little bit sick today, picked up some flu from the lattes, so we'll give it our all today, but well, yeah, we'll see. I'm not feeling 100%, so yeah, we'll see how we go. Yeah, massive shout out to Harry and everyone involved, Sleepover, Talkcraft, all the sponsors involved that have got behind us this year, Motor South Africa, just to name a few of them. Yeah, really appreciative. The team's made like you said, we've come onto the scene, made a big bang this year. I think next year we're only going to grow and get faster. Everyone's going on to Hondas, so yeah, it's going to be a really exciting to get the red machines back on top again.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, it's with the weird point system this year. I think it's 3.6 points, so it's very close. I mean, even at the national, when the points weren't even nearly as close, so it's going to be the best man that wins today is going to take home the championship. So, yeah, game plan is to try and get out front. You know, try and lead. We'll see how the weather holds up, you know, maybe it's going to rain later on, so yeah, we'll see how the day goes. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's been picking up his pace throughout the season. At the last race, I mean, there was a close battle between me and him, so yeah, I mean, definitely he can throw a spanner in the works as well, so yeah, we'll just see how the day goes. I mean, I'm going to race my own race, and then we'll see how it unfolds. It's been, it's been good. I mean, I think it's been 3 years. It's the third year now. So it's been an honor to ride for Mary. I mean, he's been a massive part of the success. I mean, he's been putting a lot of work in, and the amount of support he gives, it's crazy. So a big shout out to him. Yeah, we'll see how next year. What's the plan for next year? And yeah, so big thanks to Mary for all this.
Yeah, it is a really big day, and unfortunately the previous race I had a little bit of trouble. It would have made it a little bit of easier, but yeah, we're gonna try to do it today. It looks like the terrain is more like we know, and it's gonna be lekker because I think the start is gonna play a big role, and so yeah, we're gonna try and get a good start and just take it from there. I just want to thank Grant from MCA and then Motos Klerksdorp Umbu for all the effort they put into us and everything they do for us. And then Mark from Henderson Racing Products, he do plenty for us, and yeah, I just want to thank him as well.
We've had a very good year. I mean, our combination with Kawasaki South Africa Motor, Scottish Cables, Pepsi Plastics, a couple of other guys, Reynard Transport and that. I mean, we've come first of all to have fun, come to promote a brand back into the off-road series, and obviously look after our sponsors, Michelin and stuff. So we've had great support from everybody, and I think our sort of recipe is quite good. We obviously want to win, But if we don't win, we don't go home with long faces and kick the dog and whatever the case when we get home. We still have a smile on our face, have a beer and a boerewors roll at the end of the day. So without our team and our riders put the effort in, and we do our best. So yeah, we got a couple of championships with Kenny in OR1 seniors in the nationals, and GXCC. Pity Jake Pretorius broke his wrist at the last national, so he lost the national championship, and he was in line to win the GXCC 65s. So yeah, we've had a good season, and looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I think 2022 has been a great year. You know, we've had lots of fun racing. We've had a couple of random races where fires and floods, and you know, it's kind of everything's happened. But yeah, all in all, you know, GXCC have put on a great show. You know, the guys from Shimwells have helped us out immensely. You know, the yummies are working fine, and it's been fantastic just to get out and to have some fun. Been able to get into as many different formats of racing as possible, and I think all in all, it's been wonderful. It's been a good challenge. There's been lots of ups and downs, but all in all, we're here in one piece and we're ready to go again.
Yes, indeed, Marco. That's exactly what's going to happen, and everyone was on the queue, waiting for the flag drop for the final time in 2022. A big upset on the gate. Taki Bodgiarches coming out of a career of 250 and 350 racing and stepping onto the 450 straight into the whole shot and heading out into the fields with clear air with the championship points leader Mikey Pentecost on his wheel and Gareth Cole in the number 2 spot in second. Anything could happen out there. On the OR2 Pros, big story was Devastator was carrying an injury, so he was just going to roll out of the gate. That would be enough to give him the championship, leaving the battle to rage on for second place on the points, and it was still going to be a nail-biting race in the 350s. Some surprises coming out of that whole shot queue as well. We'll chat about that more a little later. For the OR3 Championship, it's pretty much wrapped up by Matty Wilson. He has been the kid to beat the whole way through the championship tour, but now at the end of the season, we've got Davin Cocker back on the gate, and when he is running strong, which he is now, he is super hard to beat. He would be running off into the distance with the rest of the guys like Karam, Buerta, and Wilson trying to chase him down for the rest of the day. It would still be an exciting end to the championship. For the 125s, the big story was going to be all about the fact that Kobus Bester went out and got the whole shot. Derek Karam got one of his best whole shots of the season, but Vian Wenzel went down off the gate. He would have a tough day having to plow through the entire field. And remember, the title chase was so narrow between Karam and Wenzel. Whoever got the best result on the day would win the title. Onto the seniors, and we had a great comeback, the return of Zach De Silva, who showed some great form in previous seasons. He got the last whole shot of the season, but was quickly passed by the unstoppable King Kenny Gilbert. Remember, Kenny is looking for the Golden Championship, one of a handful of riders that could go out there and win a clean slate. Every single round entered, every single round won. So really, the battle on the day was between Kochi and Potkita for the number 2 spot in the title chase. For the Masters, it's been the comeback of the Viking. Kobus Jonk has been super strong the whole way through this championship, getting better as the year has gone on. Although, this time around, he would have an almost up to fully fit Wayne Farmer to dice out with, as well as Francois Swanepoel. These guys have been the kings of the gate the whole way through 2022. And once again, be hammering the nail with Warwick van Schalkwyk joining the party also. For the veterans category, it's the second year of running, which means we've got a defending champion. That is all about Ruban Racing's Ernst Slabbert, but this season has been all about the motocross crossover Jeff Dent, figuring out GXCC racing and getting it dialed. The pro ladies, once again, it was the Pocket Rocket getting the job done. She's defending third place in the title chase, but it's Leah Haygate who once again popped out front and would see clear air. Leah was also looking for the perfect season. The Pro-Am OR1 Big Bangers saw a small gate, just 3 riders going out there. It was our very own big Chris Harmser from the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad who got to see clear air for the first time this season. And he was pumped about that. You could hear it. He was going to run out there and see what he could do. A bigger gate, much bigger gate, coming out of the Pro-Am OR2s, where all eyes would be on Alain de Toy to see if he could wrap up his first ever title chase. He got out of the whole shot queue and left the rest of the guys to do what they had to do. He was there to bag the points. OR3s was an interesting situation where we once again saw a cool hole shot coming in for Albertine Pienaar, but coming around the outside was Noah Martins, making the trip from the KZN Midlands and joining us at GXCC Racing on a Cower for the first time. OR4's great story where we saw Jaden Boyce looking good on the 85 seniors, but looking much better on the bigger bike. That's where he's headed next year, but all eyes were on to see who would walk away with the inaugural championship. For the ladies Pro-Ams, just 2 riders taking the gate. The most consistent rider on the season, Natasha Tepuch, getting it done with Liesl Barnard on the gate with her in the latter stages of the 2022 season. For the wild bikes, we had really good numbers. Remember, on the day, we had almost 230 riders joining us, and this time we had the return kings, Leon van der Westhuizen from Vans Racing and Ryan Wilkins from Polysports getting it done. But it was van der Westhuizen that popped out and got the big cheese for the whole shot. Before we go out and check the results, we chat to Vian to talk about championships and the course.
Yeah, we've got some serious championships on the line today. Last round of the season. We've got guys that are very close to each other in certain classes, so they need to be careful out there today, make sure they don't throw it away. 1 or 2 spots that can catch them out, so I really hope the guys go out there, read the markers, respect it, and ride safely and bring it home and clean up those championships.
First championship and first results that we'll be checking out. A solid gate of wild bike racers going out there and enjoying a really well laid out track. The weather did hold off, so everyone got to go out and show what they could do without the elements coming into play. Devon Wolfart was down there in 8th place with Gert Mostert in a number 7. Charles Richards, that is Declan Richards' dad, swinging a leg and enjoying himself out there, taking a number 6 ride. Very respectable result for him as well. Erhard Benedal was just ahead of him in a number 5 spot, and these guys did some good lap times as well. Carl Skuman was there ahead of him in a number 4 finish. Marcel Bozek certainly knew how to get the best out of his machine on this kind of terrain as he unleashed the big KTM out there into the wilderness. It was wide open a lot of this track as well, so really required a lot of concentration. Xander King, he's a name that we've talked about in the past, can turn his hand to most assets and facets of racing, and he took the Yamaha all the way up to a number 2 spot. But it was Gareth Foster who muscled the smoking KTM all the way to the tippy top to take the final wild class win of the season. He definitely enjoyed every aspect of the layout here at Carletonville. Tasha Tepuch is on her way to the Pro Gate in 2022. She has been the lady to beat. Sometimes she's been out there running 4th place in the overalls as well, so it shows the class of the lady. She's definitely one to watch out for when we tick the clock and go forward into 2023. In the OR4 amateur category, which has seen growth the whole way through the season, these kids are mostly heading to the high schools or into the OR3 categories for next year. Hansie van der Berg getting it done with a number 8 finish with Hendrik Swart, who's been very consistent the whole way through the season, taking a number 7 finish at the final round. Janko van Niekerk got it done with a number 6 finish to show that he is definitely on his way. You'll see a lot of the kids on this gate are a little bit small for the bikes, and that's because it is a learning category, not a fully fledged championship. Allows them a chance to go out there and understand what it is to race on the big loops. Renico Dupria was also there inside of a number 5 with Ben Geldenes just a little bit ahead on the C669, getting it done with a number 4 finish. Riders are allowed to choose bikes of a 125, 150cc or 250cc 4-stroke category before they get officially put into the gates for next season. Skalk Venter has been a name we've spoken about the whole way through the season, and he's been very rarely outside of the top 3. Once again, a 3rd place will put him in good stead for his championship challenge as he bags and tags a full season of racing. Clarkey the Ironman of GXCC racing in 2022. After wrapping up in the morning session his Pro 85 senior title, Clarkey went on to take a strong number 2 finish, as he now says goodbye to Little Wheels and gets ready for a full season on the senior gate next year. Keanu Visser, though, has been an absolute powerhouse of the squad. Visser has come all the way through the ranks of the juniors in the GXCCs, and now he's a champion-elect as he takes the final round win. We now go forward into the Pro-Am categories. Francois Swart found the loose shale areas not to his liking. Not too many big crashes out there, but unfortunately it did drop him down 1 or 2 positions, eventually finishing in 7th. Shout out an honourable mention to 8th place finisher Francois Smallberger Jr., who had his bike stolen and actually had to come up with a plan to get on the gate for points on the plate. 6th place on the day would go to Manus Herbst, with Unruh Mostert, one of our crossovers coming from the Enduro world, along with sister Catherine, to join us on the GXCCs, and he's showing a turn of speed as well. A 5th place ride out here at Carletonville, one of the fastest tracks on the season. Estienne Kutzer, who got the pickup in the halfway season from Rubine Racing, and then it was Albertine Pienaar, the man that came off the big hole shot, and he was also looking to challenge for that top 3 in the title chase. He has had one of his best seasons to date in 2022. Hats off to Pienaar for toughing it out. Ruben Strader, always out there to put on a show, enjoys his time on the bike, one of the riders who could potentially, on lap times and pace, move himself up into the pro category for next season. But it was the Johnny come lately to the tour. And so cool to see this guy traveling. He's got a history of enduro, extreme enduro, very technically gifted rider, but remember, he came from the junior off-road tour back in the day, so he knows how to grip it and rip it. Noah Martins gets the pickup from Kawasaki for the final round and rewards them with a final round win as well. I think we're going to see more of him in 2023. The OR2 Pro-Am's a huge story where a title was on the line and everyone was biting their fingernails. Some of the guys were just out there to have a jaw though. Russell Van Gool getting it done with a number 8 ride, with Ben Vessels just ahead of him in a number 7. Miguel da Silva, who has also shown incredible improvements on the season. He'd have liked to have finished inside the top 5 for the final round, but his points are still good for the series. 6th place finish here with Nathan Sparrow just up ahead of him. Gav Young takes one of his best finishes on the tour as well, riding out of the old school custom squad on the smoking gun that is the YZ250. 4th place finish for him with Ben Stratum, who is always so good on these wide open high speed tracks. 3rd place for him. He'll be getting himself ready to take on a full championship once again in 2023. Alain Dutoy, though, has been never far from either a win or the podium places. 2nd place here was enough to wrap up his title. It's going to be a big fat number 1 for him this time around. He didn't mind losing the race to Jan Vermeulen. In his words, he would say he lost the battle. But Alain Dutoy definitely won the war. Vermeulen tags the final win though. For the OR1 Pro-Ams, it's all about the guys going out there banging bars, most of them riding out of the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad. Shane Nienaber, after doing his good dad duty, looking after the lighty in the morning session for the race, walks away with a 3rd place on the day. His good buddy and the champion of the team, Big Chris Holmser. Pole shot, 2nd place, matches his highest ever GXCC finishing result and also moves himself much higher in the championship challenge. His good buddy, Ashley Engelbrecht on the Honda, didn't get the whole shot, but he did make the pass on Chris on lap number 1. Set off into the distance. Engelbrecht improves on his points tally as well by taking another win at the final round at Carletonville. The GXCC Pro ladies, the pocket rocket, the whole shot machine that is Nicole Duplessis, 5th place on the day. We'll see her sit inside the top 3 for the championship as well. So she did a very good job on the day and on the season. Bianca Edwards came out of absolutely nowhere on the final event of the tour, the L22, getting it into a number 4 finish. Carla Niebuhr eventually walking away with 3rd place. That will see her confirmed in the number 2 spot for the championship for Rubine Racing. She's had some challenges in the second half of the season. One of them has come from Catherine Mostert. Had she shown up for the whole tour, she may have well been challenging for a win, or certainly 2nd place on the tour. Catherine Mostert, the queen of Farm Jam, as we like to call her, two-time champion on the more extreme hare scramble side of things. But now she's getting a taste for high-speed racing. Second place here and another 2 spots at Carletonville. But Leah Haygate once again goes out and sees the checkers at Carletonville for the final time of asking, in very different conditions than last year. The perfect season for Haygate. Every race entered, every race won. A 2-time GXCC champion now. For the GXCC veterans, cool to see some of the old guys coming out there and swinging a leg. Ian Pepper, the main man out of Pepson Plastics factory Kawasaki squad, finishing in a number 6 finish on the day. Stefan Bagnall, who's a championship player, he's going to be walking away with a top 5 finish on the series. Willem Swickers was just up the road from him. Willem swapping machinery a little bit in the early part of the season, then committing to the KTM, 4th spot on the day. Martin Poole, always been on a yammy, always will be on a yammy, takes it all the way to a number 3 finish. Also, solid championship, solid season for him as well. Seems like he's been working on his fitness in the off part of the year. Ernst Slabbert, who took the inaugural championship in 2021, will not be seeing it in 2022. Second place this time around. Unfortunately, some faster kids turned up this year. The fastest kid of all of those was Jeff Den. The heritage of motocross runs deep, and when you take a motocross fitness and intensity, figure out how to go fast on the off-roads, there's no beating it. Den takes the win and the title to boot. For the Masters category, we saw some big numbers coming in there. Peter Compain was there in 8th place. Wayne Farmer having some issues on the day and deciding to roll out of it, dropping down to a number 7, but he still managed 3rd place in the championship with that. Conrad Edwards danced his way through the more technical parts and hung off the back wheel in the faster bits to take a number 6 finish. Kobus Jonk was out there even though he came off the gate in a strong position. He dropped down on the day to a number 5. So Jonk, the Viking, also having his problems out there on the final round of the season. His good buddy Bert Smith was up the road to take a number 4 ride with Peter Jourdan, representing VW Mastercars Hatfield, having one of his best rides of the season at the final round, taking a career highlight, 3rd place. Francois Swanepoel, who at the early part of the season was definitely a championship contender and will always be up there inside of the top 3. 2nd place, we'll see him possibly move up 1 position in the championship as well. But Warwick Wolfie van Skalkwyk has been one of the stories of the second half of the tour since he got picked up by Harry and put onto the franchise co Kawasaki. He has been unstoppable. A final win out here at Carletonville, but unfortunately not the championship. But watch next year. And on to the seniors. Remember, the seniors title was pretty much already wrapped up, so it was the minor placings that were going to be banging bars for this one. Stephen Kutzer walking away with 8th place on the day with Conrad Sieber into a number 7. Zach attacked De Silva, even though he came banging out of the gate. Little rusty as far as the high-speed running goes. Dropped down on the day to 6th place, but that's still good going. Glenn Ramsden, who has seen the podium once or twice this year, didn't find it all good going. He's been missing in action for one of the rounds, so a comeback race for 5th place. We'll still see him potentially stay inside the top 5 for the tour. Anthony van der Walt was up the road inside of a number 4, making it work for him. Such interesting terrain to work with out here at Carletonville. A true mix of absolutely everything. It was return of Lee Thompson as well, in and out of the senior championship tour. He's busy with a lot of tarmac stuff as well. But Lee Thompson can run inside the top 3 when he wants to. 3rd place at Carletonville, not too far away from where he's based, and looks like he really enjoyed the terrain. Marco Cocci knew that he had to run and hide to stay away from his championship rival. That was Yanni Potkita, who also looks like he was a no-show on the final round. Certainly not showing up inside the top 8. Cocci's 2nd place confirms his 2nd place in the championship. Only one man on the day and only one man on the season has been better than him, and that is King Kenny Gilbert for the Pepson Plastics factory Kawasaki squad. Another rider with the golden championship. Every round entered, every round won. Top score, the perfect 200. Climbing the ladder then into the big gates. The high school championship was a nail biter. We'll talk about the guys outside of the top 5 and then it gets serious. Cameron Farrell taking a number 8 ride out here in the dust. And by the way, the rain never did arrive. We got away with it this time. Ron Upperman was a number 7 with Jason Leslie having one of his best GXCC seasons to date on a number 6. Timmy Blake very much improved on the Vans Racing Factory Husqvarna. Looks like he's going to be staying on the 125 for next year. Watch out, because a lot of moving and shaking in this category may see him as one of the top campaigners in next year's championship. Dwayne Combrick, who made a big name for himself in the junior categories, it's taken a little while to figure out how to get the best out of the 125, but it's getting there. 4th place shows that he is a man on the mission and much improved as he heads towards the start of next year, which incredibly is only in 2.5 months' time. Kubis Bester got the cheese, got the whole shot, and will be a championship player to watch out for next year. Remember, this is his first year on the 125s, and he came good real quick. 3rd place at the final round. But it was the comeback from Björn Wenzel. Remember, he went down super hard off the gate. He knew he had to beat Derek Karam on the day to win the championship. He's already wrapped up the nationals for the Franchise Code Factory Cower squad. But here, he could only climb up high as the number 2, even though on the day, he actually was leading Derek Karam. So he actually came through all the traffic, made a pass on his championship rival. But on the day, come the end of the laps, Derek Karam and his fueling strategy were just a little bit better. And Karam walks away with the win and the title. It was a nail biter. Of all the championships, this was the closest one on the day and on the season. As far as entertainment goes, it does not get any better than this, and both riders and both teams were biting their fingernails the whole way through the day. Climb the ladder then into the final 3 categories, the Pro Gates. First one is the OR3 Pros. Matty Wilson pretty much rolled out of this one. Knew he didn't have to do too much on the day, so goes away with a number 7 finish, but that was enough to wrap up the championship. Hayden Cole was out there, dropping down to a number 6 on the day, with Dion Van Stad getting it inside a number 5. That's the highest position we've seen him riding out of as well. Stefan Smith, now riding for Team Gravity, gets picked up by one of the powerhouse squads that's growing in form going forward into next year. 4th place finish for him. John Boyter was up the road. Johnny Boy has been there or thereabouts, so close to all the results that he wanted, but the OR3 gate is a tough gate. He'll be out there to see what he can do about it for next year. Looks super comfortable on the Kawasaki and will be taking wins next year. Peter Karam, good to see him find his form towards the end of the season. Remember, this guy is a 2-time GXCC champion on the OR3 Pro Gate. This year, though, dropping outside of the top 4 in the championship. Just had a couple of bogey races, but the speed is definitely there, and he'll be feeling confident and comfortable as he heads into another season. Cool to see the return of Karam once again. Dav Cocker, though, can't fight against the thunder that is Cocker. When he comes back firing, he is simply unstoppable. Out of any championship challenges by missing most of the season, stepping out and doing some repair jobs on his knees, but now he is fully fit, fully back, and taking the last win with it. A top 5 overall shows that he is going to be the man once again in 2023. OR2 Pro category, Eric Merry. Changing machinery a lot in the last couple of seasons. Cool to see him finding his pace once again with a number 6 ride. Jean Niebuhr for Rubine Racing, working hard to stay inside of that top 5 for the championship. It's been a tough year for him, but this has been a very hard gate to run on and beat. Starting to develop himself more, though, as a pro rider, knowing he needs to be a little bit more aggressive. Vernon Nordier, a former teammate of Niebuhr, walks away with a number 4 finish on the day. He's also developed nicely since getting picked up by the 444 Powersport squad, and he enjoyed the second half of the season as he really gelled well with the Husky 350. Interesting situation where we see Tyron Beverly doing a little bit of double duty. Started the season racing on the 450 Pro OR1 Big Bangers, and they decided to pick up on the Honda the last couple of rounds. This is a 250cc machine that he is now trying to develop to race into the OR2s. Beverly, on a 250, gets it done in 3rd place. That just shows the potential of that rider and that bike. Carl Egger, who came out of almost nowhere to bang the big hole shot, surprised everyone when he saw clear air, and he did great work in the early laps to get out and get going. Only getting caught by one rider towards the end of the race, but Egger, absolute powerhouse performance out of nowhere to take a number 2 finish. But let's talk about this guy, Brad Burrell, riding out of Old School Customs Racing. Started the season on a smoker, halfway through, jumped across onto a 4-stroke, figured out how to get the best out of it, and at the final round of the season, a former Pro-Am racer, who in his first pro season, picks up the big win at Carletonville. That is huge, and with that victory, moves up into 2nd place in the championship out of nowhere. OR1 Pro category, let's make some noise about these guys. Rudy Vieira, the people's champion, goes down hard on lap number 2 on the VLA Sherco, and that unfortunately was the end of his racing day. 7th place on the day, walks away with the championship though inside of the top 6, so nothing to be sad about. Next year, we'll see the Rooster with his tail up once again. Rowan Smith was there with a number 6 finish, also showing his consistency and form. Roost picking him up, and if we see him consistently attacking the GXCCs like he has in the second half of the season, we will see the old Ruan come back strong in 2023. Remember, this guy's taken number 1 plates in the past. He can do it again. Taki Bodgiodges, his first time out there racing on a 450cc machine, multiple championships on 250s and 350s, and now getting it done on the 450, obviously hinting at the fact that he may be moving up to the big show next year. Taki, on his first time on the big dog, 5th place for Pepsin Plastics on the Kawa. John Vulcan has one of his best rides of the season, riding out at Bikers Warehouse, getting the pickup hookup on the Honda. Vulcan, very strong now that he's kind of figured out the bike. Remember, he only got this pickup around about 3/4 of the way into the season. So Vulcan, a guy to watch for next year. Remember, he's got some pedigree and some history. He can run the numbers. Hayden Lowe, who also got one of the pickups in the halfway marker of the season, getting put onto the Torquecraft Sleepover Factory Honda squad. And Lowe, with that support now, is showing the promise that he can also go after titles and race wins. 3rd place here, we'll see him finish good numbers on the series. Gareth Cole, his teammate, stablemate, and good buddy from down there in KZN, has had to run a number 2 the whole way through the season. Carletonville gives him another number 2. It's a semi-perfect score, if you want to call it that. 2nd place at every single round, running off the back wheel of Pentecost. And Pentecost, once again, will go out there as the guy to beat. Every single season that we go GXCC racing, we're looking to see if there's a track that is the undoing of Pentecost, and there just isn't one. The guy is on fire at every single round. Another national title this year, another GXCC title, and the guy is just running the numbers. Mike Pentecost, Magic Mike on the 929 for the CIT Franchise Co. Kawasaki squad gets it done with a banger, huge runaway overall win at Carletonville, and another runaway championship. The big number 1 heads the way of Magic Mike once again. After the race, we chat to the faces that are pumped to wrap up 2022.
First things first, I'd like to give the glory to God. You know, it's been 2 great seasons. I'm really blessed to be here, and I'm blessed to have the support and backing from everyone. My wife, my dad back home, he's missed the past few races this year. You know, we're busy starting a business at home, and yeah, it's not been easy. But Carletonville, you know, I enjoyed this race last year. It was super muddy, and we were in for something a little different this time. It was super dusty and hard pack. So, but I mean, all in all, it was a great race and good day. There's going to be a couple changes for next year. I think the guys must keep an eye out on the media, and it's definitely going to be interesting. It's going to make for a cool, fun, interesting season next year. Can't wait. You know, shout out to everyone, Harry and Teresa and, you know, Johan and all the oaks that work on the bikes and everything behind the scenes here on the team. There's a lot that goes into it. You guys see a good rider, and it's not, there's a lot more to it. You know, these guys have got my back, and Yeah, shout out to everyone back home, mom, dad, you know, my kid, Hunty, see you, my boy. Dad's a champion again.
Yeah, this was a epic day. I had a good start, came out second behind Kobus, and then managed to make a pass on Kobus. And then on the first lap, I had a little crash, but stood up and was still in the lead. And on the second lap, Vian came flying past me. And then, yeah, I tried to keep up to him. And then on the third lap, he just washed his front, and then I made a pass and brought it home. I just want to thank my mom and dad, Wim Grant, everything, my brother, my sister, my girlfriend, everybody who was here to help me and just what they do for me.
Yeah, I know today was rough. I had a horrible start. Came back from the back of the pack. Just charged my way. Actually was in the lead for a bit. Derek and I were battling almost all day long, and unfortunately I made a mistake. And yeah, he came past and he took the win. So big congratulations to him for taking the championship. It's been a long year. It's been lacquer racing. I mean, he's like a brother to me. So today I was riding. I was like, if any of us takes the championship, it's always lacquer. So we deserve it. So it was a rough year. Glad to be safe and everything. So yeah, so it was good. All in all, good. So I think I'll show the secret later. I'll tell the secret later, but I mean, definitely you'll expect me next year on the 250. I'll be in the OR3 class, back to where I was in for 2 years. So feeling better on the bike, fitness is much better. So yeah, I think definitely next year, hopefully I'll bring a surprise. This is a massive team setup. I mean, this is pretty factory. This whole setup. I mean, a big thanks to Mary for all this. Jan, Ivan, for all the bike prep. Everything's always perfect. All the sponsors for getting us here. It's all the parts and everything. It's, you know, this is a team effort. So I'm glad to be part of this. And then a massive thanks to my parents, my mom and dad, and my sister. You know, they're always there supporting me, driving me around, being there, you know, accommodation, all the long hours traveling. So it's a big thanks to them for making this a family sport and just making it so enjoyable.
Oh, my 2022 season started off very great. Signed with KTM, brother leader Ched. Season was going good. First race, got second behind Dav, and then unfortunately Dav had a bit of an accident. He had to go get his ACL replaced, so that put him out for the season. And then from there, I've just been working hard and harder. Yeah, came out won most of the GXCCs, and then today was able to get the championship. No, my sponsors, brother leadership KTM, Francesca Brondel from KTM. She does everything. She's behind the scenes. She's working her bum off. Can't thank her enough. And Uncle Kevin Tyro for my mechanic, for my bike. Oh, he's amazing. He knows exactly what he's doing. My bike's always in tip-top mint condition and just can't complain. My mom and dad, thanks to them. Without them, I wouldn't be here, to be honest. But I wouldn't have been into racing, and just a huge thanks to them.
One of the stories of Carletonville, and certainly on the season, was Brad Burrell coming out of nowhere to take an incredible Pro OR2 victory at Carletonville.
Yeah, so 22 started off on a 252 stroke, which I raced Pro-Am with last year. I got the championship there, and halfway through the year got a good deal on the 350 and bought it and started getting used to the bike. And yeah, today was just a good day. Had a lacquer race and yeah, managed to get the win. Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, obviously, guys at Old School Customs have been helping us out and stuff, and I mean, they're helping with the pits and everything. And yeah, then I mean, friends, family, all the supports and stuff. And then, yeah, my fiance is obviously the #1 supporter. She goes to every race and bites the bullet with me. So yeah, I mean, that'll depend obviously on me, but yeah, we'll put a bit of training in and stuff. I mean, I haven't got any strict training routines or anything in place. So yeah, I'll get the fitness up and then have a look next year where we go with it.
Kenny, sublime as always. The perfect race, the perfect season.
Today was a really fun track. I was actually expecting some rain. I think all of us were, but finally
It didn't rain, sorry. Luckily it didn't rain. But yeah, the track was awesome. GXCC put on an awesome event again. It was quite rocky today, fast and rocky, twisty. A little bit of mud, which made it slippery. But all in all, fun day. Brought it home safe, and yeah, another day for Pipes and Plastics. Yeah, look, of course, I'm very happy. You know, it's mostly for Pipes and Plastic Kawasaki. You know, they've helped me this year. And yeah, they've just been supporting me. They brought me back racing and just brought the fun back out of it. And yeah, it's just really nice to be back racing, and GXCC is really fun.
Leah Haygate takes the Golden Championship once again, the perfect score, undefeated in 2022.
The track was quite rough actually. There were lots of locos and a lot of rocks, actually more than I can remember from last year. The track layout was the same as last year, so it was good to have some familiarity. So yeah, that was really fun and really good overall. I had fun out there and I kept it safe, so that's all that matters. No, it was definitely a very positive year for me. I had a brilliant year in all disciplines that I rode. I built a lot of confidence up, which was really incredible, especially racing the nationals against all the boys. I definitely feel like I came on in leaps and bounds. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to next year and what next year holds for me. The team was amazing this year. I'm so proud to have been a part of them, and obviously all the sponsors that go behind the scenes, and obviously we don't see them or hear them, but they are around, and thank you to all of them, because without them there wouldn't be this team and everything, and of course Harry for everything he does behind the scenes too.
Here's confirmation of the results at Carletonville. Mikey Mike on top. Pentecost gets the win, putting some time into Cole, Lowe, Vilkins. Bodgiar just incredible on the 450, ahead of Smith, Vieira and Kotze. For the OR2 pros, Brad Burrell, remember that name. That is a huge story, as well as Egger. Then Beverly in third, Nordia and Nibua. Mary rounding things out for the top 6. Taking an incredible top 5 in the overalls, the only rider to put 3 laps on the OR3 Pro gate, Dav Cocker, gets it done ahead of Karam and Buerta, with Smit, Van Stad, Cole and Wilson to a number 7. High schools, Derek Karam, and the win gives him the title. Check out, it came down to seconds between Karam and Wenzel. That was the decider in the championship. Seniors, all about King Kenny, once again putting huge time, 12 minutes into Marco Cocci. Cocci's second place gives him second place on the series. Thompson was back with a bang with third place ahead of Van der Walt, Ramsden, De Silva, Sieber and Kurtzer. For the Masters, Warwick van Skalkwyk on form once again ahead of Swanepoel, Jordan and Smith. Jonk dropping down to 5th, but enough to win the championship, beating out Edwards, Farmer and Compain on the day. For the veteran category, Jeff Dan, close to unstoppable in 2022. It really has been a revelation. Ernst Slabbert has his work cut out. Second place on the day and dropping down out of the championship this time around. Pooley, Swickers, Bagnall and Pepper joined him on the day. For the GXCC Pro ladies, Leah Haygate, once again, a force of nature, beating out Mostert, Nibua, Edwards and Duplessis. And then in the Pro-Am ladies, Tepuch beating out on Barnard. For the Pro-Am OR1 Big Bangers, Ash Engelbrecht continues his good run of form, beating out his good friend Big Chris Hamser and Shane Nienaber down to 3rd place. Pro-Am OR2's Jan Vermeulen takes the final victory. That was the battle, but the war was won by second place runner Alain de Toy, cementing his championship with that finish at Carletonville on the day, ahead of Stratum, Young, Spiro, De Silva, Vessels and Van Gool. And in the OR3 Pro-Ams, No Martins in the big win ahead of Stratum, Pinar and Kutzer. Mostert, Herbs, Swats and Smallberger. No show on the day because Teek Harrower had already wrapped up the title coming into this round. OR4 Amateurs, Keanu Visser gets it done ahead of Clarkey. Fenter, Gildenace Dupria takes us to number 5. Van Kirk, Swats and Van der Berg down to a number 8. And our final category of the day, good numbers. Thank you to the Wow Class for supporting GXCCs at Carletonville, the final time of asking. Gareth Foster takes the last win of the season ahead of Xander King, Marcel Bozek, Carl Schoeman, Ehard Benedal, Charles Richards, Gert Mostert, and Divan Wolfart to a final 8th place finish. That was Carletonville, the final GXCC on the tour in 2022. We chatted to Vian about what goes into and all the people that work behind the scenes at this amazing tour.
Yeah, I'm also, always the guy that's out on the mic and speaking to you guys in interviews and so on. But there's a much bigger community behind us that helps us. Miranda, she's doing all the admin, and you have no idea how much admin it is. She sits until very late at night doing admin, sorting out riders and licenses and all of that. So, big shout out to Miranda. First of all, she's a star when it comes to that. And then, the whole household, all the kids, they jump in and help and check and do things. We've got the marshals out there on the route, stationary marshals, the roaming route marshals. I want to give a big shout out to Stephen King, that's been my right-hand man throughout this year. Unfortunately, he couldn't make this round. He's a bit ill. But without him, it's really tough to be out there doing the routes and marking them and checking them. So a big shout out to him as well. And all the guys that help mark the track, old France and Philemon. They've been doing this for a long time. They know their stuff, and there's nothing that I can say that's wrong. They're always doing a brilliant job. So big hat off to them as well, and thanking them for everything.
A big thanks to them. I think it's sometimes we don't thank them enough for all their work. I think it's a few weeks of work to get this set up perfect. And a big thanks goes out to them. They have always put a safe course on. So it's always an enjoyable race. Everything is organized well. So a big thanks to all of them, and even the people behind the camera as well, like you as well. There's a lot of people to thank for all this. So yeah, awesome.
Vian from GXCC did a very good job this year so far, and the tracks he got for us is proper and well marked and not dangerous, and it's very nice.
Yeah, huge shout out to them. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be racing here at such safe events, and also it's just good for the sport. It builds the riders and brings more people to the races, which is good for the industry.
Big ups to them. They've been setting great tracks. The organizers are great, and can't ask for anything more.
They've been on it this year, can't complain. It's been a good year. They should do it, just replicate what they did this year, and it will be a good year next year.
Baie dankie vir die wonderlike bane wat julle uitsit. Die merke, alles wat julle merk is perfek, altyd mooi gedoen. En ja, baie dankie vir hierdie jaar. Was wonderlik geweest en kan nie wag vir volgende jaar nie.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, everything that goes on behind racing, I think a lot of riders don't appreciate enough. The organization, the marking. So all the officials, all the people that go out of their way to get here early in the morning to help out and actually just set up such incredible events. A big shout out to them and a thank you, because without them, we wouldn't have fun. All riders wouldn't have fun racing out here. So awesome for them and awesome for us.
Ja, ek wil asseblief vir hulle ook baie dankie sê. Ek dink nie daar was een groot besering op die quads nie. Ons is baie gelukkig daaroor, en is ook maar moeilik om vir 'n quad en 'n two-wheeler dieselfde baan te merk dat niemand seer kry nie.
Yeah, big shout out to them. They obviously watched me last year in the Pro-Am and stuff, and yeah, they've set out a good year's racing for us. See, next year's a bit shorter, but yeah, very big shout out to GXCC, the whole team, guys that mark everything, and yeah, everyone that gets it together. It's just good fun.
Awesome. Now I just want to say thanks. I think everybody over here, the effort they put out, I don't think it's easy going out there, putting markers out and getting the right tracks and stuff, and it's amazing what they do, and hopefully it carries on. Hopefully next year the quads will carry on, get bigger, and we'll just grow and grow.
Yeah, Vian and Miranda, they and the whole crew, they've put in a lot of time and effort into these tracks. You can see it's very well marked. Cautions are always spot on marked. Never know if you're going to slow down, you need to slow down with their markings. No, thanks to them. It's an amazing season and wouldn't ask for anything better.
They are amazing. They're the best. Not one race this year was unorganized. It was hard, but it was amazing to do all the races. They are superheroes.
Nah, of course. No, we all here and we look around and we take for granted what's here. A lot goes into marking these races. and down to the officials or marshals or Oak standing out there ticking a helmet in the sun all day. All of this needs to be done, and the guys do it for the love of the sport. Oaks aren't making big money doing this. It's all for the love of the sport, and it's the reason we still have racing here. And it's awesome. A huge thanks to those guys that keep this together and put this together.
Oh man, I cannot thank them enough for what they put together. Without Vion and Miranda doing this and slaving their life away to keep this circus going. I know it's expensive, I know it's hard work, and I know they put the hours in, and I mean, there's nothing that we can, we cannot give enough gratitude to them for being able to put the show together, and especially after the drama they've had this year with the fire and the flood. It's difficult for them. It's cost out of their pocket with zero income. So, we just want to say thank you to them. They are an absolute legend to the sport, and I think they'll be blessed in the future for keeping this circus all together.
How else can you say it? Thank you, GXCC, and thank you, everyone, for supporting the tour. That was the GXCCs, and that was the final round at Carletonville in 2022. Well done to everyone who's been out there toughing it out for all the rounds and joining us on the tour. GXCC is strong as ever, here to stay, and the dates are already out for the 2023 season. So get training, enjoy a little bit of time out with the family, stay strong, stay safe, and we will see you on the line in 2023. Have a great Christmas. Laters. All of this GXCC, driven by Dunlop Racing action from Rodium, was proudly brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. So there you go. That is all of the tours wrapped up tight. That was officially the last race of the season as far as the big tours go. And pretty much everything is done and dusted now. So everyone's got their bikes up for sale. Everyone's buying their freshies. Everyone is getting ready to go on holiday after a well-earned break. It's been an incredible season. We can't wait to see what's coming down the pipe for next year. I can guarantee you though, we are working with GXCC and we are definitely working with Farm Jam and a lot of our sponsors for 2022 and before that are staying on with us as well. So Hollywood is here to stay, guys. Don't worry, we will not drop that ball. Hope you enjoyed the show, and watch out because everyone who's going to the GXCC end of season prize giving this coming weekend, you will see some really cool videos. We're actually using a lot of the footage that we collected this year as the call-ups for the top 6. So you'll see some really cool footage. And of course, that classic "This is GXCC" video will be up on the screen. It's a brand new one, brand new footage, brand new tearjerker. Have those tissues ready to beam with pride. Add to your husband, your wife, or your lighties. It's going to be a banger. Thanks for the support as always, guys. There will be more Hollywoods to come. 2 more episodes just before Christmas. Laters.